What's going on, everybody? My name is Casey Adams, and I'm a 16-year-old entrepreneur and CEO of Rise of the Young. And throughout my entire entrepreneurial journey, I've built my own Snapchat marketing course to teach people how to market and brand themselves on Snapchat. And during all this time, I've been able to travel around all over the United States to talk about my story and really develop a brand story. And a few things I want to talk to you guys about today is really the quality of developing your brand story, because as I've grown and built my brand, I've really learn to really focus on the branding and the marketing of it, because without a good brand and a good story behind it, a lot of people won't be able to pay attention to your brand or your company. So as I started off with my Rise Up training course to teach people Snapchat marketing, I learned to outsource my weaknesses and focus on my strengths. And as I've done that, when I was building my course, I hired a Upwork professional, a web developer that built my website and allowed me to link it to a membership site. And as they were building that on the side, I was able to focus on the content creation and the branding and marketing of the course. So then once I put it all together, I was able to crush it and knock it out the park in a week. And I see a lot of people out there that they're trying to build a company or a brand, and they're focused too much on the things they aren't good at, and it causes them to get set back, and they really get lost, and they get over-analysis by paralysis, and they aren't able to really go 100% into what their strengths are. And one thing I recommend to everyone watching this right now is, for me, I was able to hire a web developer, and Upwork.com, if you haven't heard of it, make sure you go check it out. You can hire people by the hour, and they can help you really get things done when you're delegating and focusing on your strengths. So as I was hiring someone with Upwork to really leverage my time for them to build my website and build my landing page, I was able to really focus on the Instagram marketing and the campaign that I was going to launch as the course was coming into production. So as they were building my website and really building the entire sculpture of what I was going to put the content into, I was able to travel up to New York City, and I did a sweet penthouse view of just the entire traveling and teaching people how they can leverage their brand and really make money on Snapchat. That's what my course was about. And I was really able to build an entire email list and really market it before the course was out. So once the course, and I killed all the content, put it into the website since it was already finished, because I leveraged what I wasn't good at and I focused on the marketing and the branding side of things. Like I said, I built my entire email list. I was able to market it to them, and I got the entire course knocked out in a week. I was able to travel to New York City to crush out the content, and like I said, knocked it out very fast. And a lot of people, they will be so focused on the little itty gritty things, and they're not focusing on the big picture. And that's when you have to really learn to allocate what you're good at and what your weaknesses are, and really dive into what you're good at and really separate the two sides of things. So like I said, that was the whole course in my whole Snapchat marketing course. And then another thing that I really suggest, and one thing that I've been doing when building my brand, is when I started my own clothing line, Rise the Young, a lot of people will get print-on-demand services, and a lot of people will get inventory, and people don't see the differences between the two. So I was able to utilize print-on-demand services with threadmeup.com and teespring.com. So I never saw the actual t-shirts that were coming to my house, but the company would actually send out the t-shirts to the addresses from every single order. So I didn't have to wrap up the packages and send them out to all the people that ordered, but I was able to focus on the branding on social media and really get the entire clothing line out there without ever seeing the inventory. And that's something that people aren't really focusing on nowadays. And as you continue to grow your brand and grow your company, you're really gonna have to focus on things that can cut the time, and you really can get it out there quick, because the more quickly you're able to really get things done, the more successful your brand will be, because you're gonna be able to put out a lot of content and get a lot of things done. All right, so now I'm gonna talk about leveraging media sources and gaining credibility for your brand, and overall just building a brand story, because that's the one thing that will differentiate from you and your competition. So one thing that I focus on when building my brand and building my company is the brand story, and really giving people a reason to follow the brand and follow the entire movement of my story. So as I was building my brand story, one thing that I really focused on is the bare minimum of where I started and what was the overall momentum process and how I was able to go from point A to point B, because people, they always like connecting with people, and if you can build a human relationship in your brand and give it a message to market with, you're gonna be able to see a lot of different results that you haven't seen if you didn't build a brand story. And one way I did that was by connecting with media sources to really get my story out there to the public. And one way that I did that was from using Twitter to connect with local reporters in my local area. And I was able to connect with a bunch of people on Twitter, and in their bios it said, send me a story, I'd love to cover it if it's a good story. And for a story, I was creating a brand story for my brand and my company, and that's something that a lot of people out there I don't see doing a lot. And as you continue to grow your brand, you're gonna wanna gain credibility so people can see your brand as a highly successful brand and they'll continue to follow it. So like I said, I was using Twitter to connect with reporters, sending them an email about my story and my brand and the purpose of it. And I contacted around 50 local reporters in my local area, and a few of them that got back to me, and one of them from ABC Channel 8 News reached back out to me, and she actually came to my house and covered my story, my company, and the story behind it, because media outlets like to cover stories, and if you're able to craft a well brand story, you're gonna be able to get a lot more media coverage and overall gain credibility for your brand. And from that ABC Channel 8 interview, I've been able to travel around all over the US telling my story and telling more people about my brand, and it's gained a lot of credibility during this time period, because after I got my ABC Channel 8 interview, I was actually able to connect with a local event in San Diego, and I was all the way across the United States, and they actually invited me out to San Diego to speak about my story and my brand and my company, and that's one thing that allowed me to gain credibility. And for everyone watching this, that's what I recommend for you guys, is connecting with local reporters for your brand or your company and building a well brand story around it so you can gain credibility in your industry and establish a well brand behind your entire company. And from me traveling all over the US telling my story, I've been able to experience a lot of different things at such a young age, and it's so crazy because if you take the risk and you take the opportunity, you're gonna be rewarded so much, but it's all up to you. And if you actually take action and connect with the reporters and build that credibility for your brand, and that's one thing that I highly suggest to all you guys watching this when building your companies or building a brand, is establish credibility from utilizing media sources so you can travel all over and tell about your brand, tell about your company, and it'll allow you to travel the world and be the traveling CEO in which you deserve to be. So thanks for checking out this video, and I'd like for you guys to answer one question and really answer, what is the biggest challenge that you have when creating a brand story, and what is one thing that you are really gonna focus on when going about it now? So thanks again. My name is Casey Adams. I'm a 16-year-old entrepreneur, and you can find me on Instagram at CaseyAdams1, on Twitter at TheCaseyAdams, and my website is riseoftheyoung.com. Thanks everyone for checking this out, and I'll see you guys in the next video.